I once had a friend who passionately loved the game of tennis, and his favorite player was Novak Djokovic. So he watched Novak nearly every match he had that was broadcasted on TV. But one day he came to me, he was like, Storm, how do you hit a forehand like Novak Djokovic? That kind of took me by surprise because he watches so many of his matches. I just assumed that he would know how to hit one of the most fundamental shots in the game, the forehand. So that got me thinking, and I basically narrowed it down to three steps: preparation, contact, and the follow through. So the first, and in my opinion, probably the most important step is preparing to hit the tennis ball. It is extremely important to get into the proper position so that you can make a good play on the ball. The ready position consists of a few key components. So I begin by slightly bending my knees and making sure that my feet are shoulder width apart to keep myself balanced and poised, ready to get that ball in any direction. While my body is properly aligned, I distribute my weight onto the pads of my feet, so not your heels or your toes, the pads of your feet, by leaning forward enough to feel comfortable. So you want to be comfortable, but at the same time, you want to be balanced and poised. Next, I make sure to keep my head facing forward and my shoulders parallel with the net. And then lastly, I hold my racket out in front of me so that I'm ready to return shots on either side of my body. Okay? So while you are preparing to return the opponent's ball, it's also important to incorporate the split step, which should really be the initial movement when you see the opponent hit the serve. So the split step can be achieved by jumping forward into the court about an inch or two maybe as the opponent prepares to hit a shot, and then landing on the tips of your feet. So this enables me to kind of be able to make explosive moves toward the ball and prevents weight from being entirely distributed on my heels. So if you do a split step, you're kind of ready. You can go anyway. But it's also important and necessary to prepare for the actual swinging of the racket. So I told you kind of how to get your body in position, but now I'm going to tell you how to actually get your racket ready so that you can play the ball. So the forehand is executed on the same side of the body. So I'm right-handed, so it's going to be executed on my right side. If you're left-handed, you know you're just going to be your left hand. It is imperative to move towards the ball. So if you don't move towards the ball, it's nearly impossible to make a clean and consistent contact. So I begin to slowly edge my body toward the ball while I track it with keen eyes. That's a big key, always keeping your eye on the ball. I rotate my shoulders to a 90-degree angle when compared to the net, and then I extend my opposite arm across my body. The first step is opposite arm across the body, like that. Now I'm going to swing my right hand back, so I kind of make a large loop. So as I swing it back, I'm making a large loop. As the ball kind of nears me, I'm getting ready for that. So at the same time, I'm shifting my body weight back. As I bring the racket back, my body weight should be shifting back, and I'm also turning my body towards the sideline. So when I prepare to hit the ball, I started off parallel to the net, but when you prepare to hit the ball, it should be sideways to it. And then you kind of lean on your back foot and you go forward. And then this leads us into our next step, which is the contact. So now if you're in that position, you're ready for contact. But effective striking of the ball can only be achieved if the racket is in the proper orientation. So it is essential to grip the racket firmly so that you can make sure that it doesn't, wiggle in your hand or fly out of your hand. That'd be crazy. So you don't want that at all. And then I like to keep my racket face slightly tilted towards the ground at about a 20-degree angle when first making contact. And then I turn my wrist as if I am twisting a doorknob almost as my swing progresses into the follow through. So for me, this motion and the racket position helps to generate a good amount of topspin, which allows my shots to clear the net at a good height and then also stay in the court more consistently. So this topspin is created when I brush the ball from bottom to top with the strings of the racket. And that's kind of when the doorknob comes in, because you get the ball, you see it, you come under the ball, you twist, you go over the ball. So to achieve optimal spin, I also rotate my body so that I'm facing the sideline and put my non-dominant hand out in front to track the ball. So that my left hand is what I'm pointing out. I'm tracking the ball with my hand so that I can make sure I get clean contact. So I'm watching it and tracking it. The power of the shot is not generated by the dominant arm, but the entire body. So I push off my back foot, like I said, into the ball to generate this power, and can even increase the amount of power I get by kind of twisting my body at the same time. Okay, so lastly, a good tennis stroke relies on aspects even after contact to ensure that the shot is effective. So after making contact with the ball, I extend my arm out and turn my wrist and forearm in a way that appears like I'm looking at my watch almost, okay? So you want to go through almost like you're looking at your watch. Then as I rotate my forearm and wrist accordingly, so that watch-looking motion, I bring my racket across my body and over my shoulder in a smooth, relaxed motion to complete the stroke. So this is vital because this is vital to the forehand for many reasons, okay? It helps maintain balance after the shot and also plays a role in the speed and topspin. So without a follow-through, the strokes would be short and choppy. This choppiness, of course, reduces the effectiveness of the shot, and it also decreases spin and power. The follow-through is the component that makes or breaks the shot, so make sure you have a good follow-through. So this kind of got me to realize that it's much easier to hit an effective forehand if these three main components are present. So that's preparation, contact, and follow-through. My forehand is successful because it incorporates these three necessary steps. With these tools, I believe that anyone can excel at hitting a solid, fundamental forehand.